Pop Squad, coming at ya. We have something kind of exciting. Bladee has a new EP out. 3 songs, a total of not even 8 minutes, 7 minutes 48 seconds. It is called, I'm not sure what STE is supposed to be. Sweet? Saint? Sweet? I think it's sweet. STE has always been sweet to me. The Beautiful Martyr First Attempt. And I have no idea what that title is supposed to mean. Can close this. So I don't know. The 3 songs on the EP are One in a Million, which has a music video. So when we listen to this, we will watch the official music video that just came out as well. Ask Jade is the second track, and St. George the Martyr. I like St. George, the legend of St. George. He's a Christian saint. I actually had to go look up information about St. George here on Wikipedia, of all things. St. George fought dragons. At least, that's the legend. And I like St. George. There was an old comic book called St. George, too. Came out in like 1990, something like that. And we don't need to talk about any of that. So let's do this. We're going to check out this album, or this EP. This is the first EP, but not the first project that Bladee has worked on since Cold Visions, which I did a full album reaction to last year. It had to be a full year ago at this point, right? Cold Visions. April 24th of 2024. Oh, interesting. So this is just slightly more than a year after Cold Visions came out. And the other thing that I find really interesting, and I might be the only one, is when I was looking up information about St. George, we find that his date of death was April 23rd of 303, of the year 303. I don't know if that date is at all significant, but I happened to notice it, and so it's interesting that last year Cold Visions came out on the 24th, which might have actually been the 23rd, because I probably posted it on the 24th. I don't know if there's a connection there, but that seems like a weird coincidence, like specifically April 23rd. Let's check this out. Bladee, Cold Visions, release date. It was April 23rd of 2024. April 23rd is the death date of St. George. Is that weird? That's weird, right? Huh. So, this says released April 30th for this album, or this EP. I don't know. It's just, maybe it's a weird coincidence. I don't know. But let's check this out. One in a Million, Ask Jade, and St. George the Martyr. Please like, subscribe, and share. Please go watch another video on the channel. CashApp, PayPal, and Patreon information are down here in the description of the video if you would like to send me money or songs to listen to and all that sort of stuff. No one paid me to react to this. I probably will not be able to monetize it. If you would like to send me like a tip for doing this, I would not fight with you. I would appreciate it. Actually, I would love that. But let's go. Let's do this. First song off of, again, Sweet. The Beautiful Martyr First Attempt is One in a Million. 2 minutes and 56 seconds. Here is the official video. Great visual. I mean, that's a cool shot. I'm sorry. There are lyrics to this, so I will pull up the lyrics. Sorry, that's a previous video that I looked at earlier today. Oh, there's a little annotation here. I'm completely scattered. I apologize. Sweet, the Beautiful Martyr first attempt is Blade's first solo release of 2025. The track One in a Million was teased during the Cold Visions tour in 2024. Oh, interesting. The release of the three-track single was announced the day before on April 29th of 2025. Okay, not a lot of information there. This has the producers as Lucy and Wosum. And let's see what this is listed as down in the credits here. Oh, pop, rap, experimental, alternative pop, alternative rap, alternative Scandinavia, pop rap, cloud rap, svenska, experimental rap, underground rap, trap, and hip hop. Okay. Let's just start this puppy over and we'll read along with the lyrics. I like the very beginning of this, so that's why I'm starting over.
Every day I wake up to the same fucking thing. Evil things in my mind and it spins and it spins. Is there any love for a boy that I sin? And it's always lit for the boy with the gift. Do we take a risk for reality more?
Really like the way this sounds. Like very cool sound to it. Really loving the music. Loving it.
Chris, mixing with the spit, this the blood and he did. When you feel like this, does the drugs even hit? Let us take a look at the sky and exist. Listen and forget. Mr. One in a million. Mr. One in a million. That's a mansion on the hill, stood in a pool of blood. Swan on the sleeve, flags waving. Winds from the north, freeze all shores, through frost born.
What is this about? Mansion on the hill stood in a pool of blood. Gate unlock, Mansion on the Hill, Blue Pills, Western Union by Bladee. Interesting. Okay, so reference back to an older song. I'll come back to these lyrics at the beginning. Winds from the north, freeze all shores, brutal frost born. The line might be a reference to Ever Since, an album fans usually listen to during winter, according to Last FM stats. Because of its calm and melancholic setting. In Bloodveil Stillborn, he says, "The firstborn got his world torn. I came out of the ice storm as the white shores when the night falls." Frostborn is a wordplay suggesting they were directly born from snow, material often associated with northern landscapes such as Sweden, where Bladee originates from. The idea is confirmed by Young Lean, GTBSG associate featured on Lucky Luke 2024, "We from the Snow Where It's All Forming." Yeah, maybe I'm brutal frostborn. Let's keep going.
Mansion on the hill, stood in a pool of blood. Swan on the sleeve, flags waving.
The Holy Lord, Saint George.
Every day I wake up to the same fucking thing. Evil things in my mind and it spins and it spins. Is there any love for a boy that I sin? Candles always lit for the boy with the gift. Mr. One in a million. For reality, more crisp. Mixing with the spit, is the blood anything? When you feel like this, does the drugs even hit? Let us take a look at the sky and exist. One in a million, suffer in distress. One in a million, suffer in distress. Every day I wake up to the same fucking thing. Evil things in my mind and it spins and it spins. Is there any love for a boy that I sin? Candles always lit for the boy with the gift. Mr. One in a million. Like the ash on the snow, cigarette. In a million. phone. Don't you know I should just on the throne? Cross in the stride.
I like the way that sounded. Huh. I love the way that sounds. I absolutely love the way that sounds. Very cool song. Boy, I think there's a lot of stuff going on here. So, I kind of feel like it starts off the lyrics, every day I wake up to the same fucking thing, evil things inside my mind, and it spins and it spins. Is there any love for a boy that has sinned? We'll get to that. I kind of, and he has a quote here down below, this chorus, the Holy Lord St. George is a sample that's here. Bladee, in the February 25th, 2025 Pitchfork interview, said that his next album may be St. George themed. When asked who St. George was, Bladee smiled and replied, "Oh, he's the one killing the dragon." And I think that's very much what this song is about. It's called One in a Million, but I think it's about these evil thoughts. Every day I wake up to the same fucking thing, evil thoughts in my mind, and it spins and it spins. And I think those evil thoughts are the dragon, or the dragons. And Bladee, is St. George, slaying those dragons every day just to exist. Is there any love for a boy who has sinned? This is an interesting. This line is interesting in the sense that it's reminiscent of the line, "Is there a place in heaven for boys like me?" from the song he did with Varg 2TM. Bladee lyrically poses the question, which seems equally facetious and existential throughout his discography. Thematically, in this specific lyric, Bladee, reflecting on his past depression, drug use, darker actions, etc., questions about spirituality frequently. Like, is there a place for him because he has sinned, right? The next paragraph in this annotation says, in the context of the Cold Visions album, which had several and perhaps even subtle to many listeners themes about sin, faith, return of negative mental state, and reflections on his past, it's clear that asking, "Is there any love for a boy that has sinned?" is partially rhetorical, but also partly serious, possibly aimed at God. Sure, of course it's aimed at God because it's about sin. But I think this is all about him and his struggles, fights with the thoughts that he has, and trying to get by and just exist on a day-to-day basis, and he has to wake up and slay those dragons every single day just to continue to exist. And those evil thoughts, those things that he thinks and maybe even says and does, are quote-unquote sins, could be sins, could be sinful, and he is worried that he may have ruined it for himself, right? Like his brain, those dragons may have tainted him, made him unlovable in the eyes of God, or if that's not possible, unlovable by other people, and possibly able to be saved by God, if you believe in that sort of stuff. Interesting. This line here too about mixed with the spit is the blood any thick. Spit and blood mixed together makes me think of like an alchemist or a magician creating a homunculus. We can look into that too. I think you usually homunculus creation historical. History Bladee. Why does it say that? did it say? Where does this homunculus panel come from? Blade philosophy. Blade seems to reference the occult and Gnosticism the most. Lots of tarot and Christian references. So it could actually be a reference to something like that. So let's get rid of the blade part. Historical. Yeah, so it could be created through alchemy. An artificial human-like being could be created through alchemy. The homunculus first appears by name in alchemical writings attributed to Paracelsus. Outlines the method for creating a homunculi. That the sperm of a man be putrefied by itself in a sealed cucurbit for 40 days with the highest degree of putrefaction in a horse's womb, or at least so long that it comes to life and moves itself and stirs, which is easily observed at this time. Okay, so it's not blood and whatever. But even so, the fact that Blade even came up as we were searching for this, interesting. Then we get further in. Do we take a risk for reality more crisp? Mixed it with the spit. Is the blood any thick? When you're built like this, does the drugs even hit? So he's saying, like, when he has these issues, this wakes up every day with his evil thoughts in his brain, like, when you have a brain like that, do the drugs even help? Does it even do anything for you? Let's take a look at the sky and exist, listen and forget. Mr. 1 in a million. So that's him. He's 1 in a million, which means there's like, what, 80 of him? 800 of him? 800 of him? Because there's 8 billion people on the planet now. It's tragic. It's the 1 in a million. Really good song. I like it a lot. I like that he's packing a ton of meaning in here, even if it's not transparent, like it's not crystal clear exactly what he's talking about. It's still very, very cool. Really liking this. First song, right? Really liking it. Very dense, very interesting. Let's go down to the bottom of the page here. We will go to Ask Jade, which is track number 2. Let's do it. No video for this.
Whatever. The beautiful martyr.
Sorry, I gotta pause this because I forgot to mention producers on this are Gabriel Schumann, Lucy, and Eurohead. Let's just go back to the beginning and do it again.
Whatever. The beautiful martyr. And yet, in fear holds the regrets. Distress, disgust, unrest. In testaments of time, assassination time. Disaster reigns this time. Deciphering these rhymes. Desaturated lights. His affirmation rights. Accelerates his voice. Invigorates his void. As sculptures we destroy. Hex symbols out of stone. Make monuments that hold. Excellent things we made. Excellent will display. Ask all of God as Jade. Was all of this in vain? Who let it get this late? How am I supposed to pain? The feeling that you hate is set to hold the same. I promise you so. Set to hold the same. It's not so. And yet let's be this time. This line is proof.
The Holy Lord, Saint George.
Diamonds, I need. Overlooking a frozen lake, in which the 3 stars' reflection will guide her, and she will be free from this trash.
Just tons of references in here, right? Like references from old songs, references from stuff that he just talks about, Trash Island, the whole thing about, where was this? It's holier than thou, King Nothing. I'm King Nothing, right? He's got a song called King Nothing. Overlooking the frozen lake, the 3 stars reflection will guide her. Black Castle. It's crazy. I'm really looking forward to reading some of these annotations in here. I don't want to do it now because I want to get through the rest of the song.
I'll be free, free, free. Shall be RPG. Really, it's a simple thing, yeah. In fear, hostility, regrets. Distress, disgust, unrest. In testaments of time. Assassination time. Disaster this time. Deciphering these rhymes. Desaturated light. Disaffirmation rights. Accelerates its voice. Invigorates its void. As structures we destroy. Hexables out of stone. Make monuments that hold. Excellent things we made. Excellent will display. As good go as Jade. Considering it's not fun. Sometimes I'm wondering how much suffering is getting so proud. Covering my mind. Covering my. Recovering my heart. In a house with no windows. Yeah, outside the window. Outside the life, you know. Beautiful Martyr.
Again, packed full of stuff. The beautiful Martyr, nothing. And yet, in fear holds thee regrets, distress, disgust, unrest, in testaments of time, assassination time. Love the repeated S's and T's and D's in there. Distress, disgust, unrest, in testaments of time, assassination time, disaster reigns this time, deciphering these rhymes, desaturated lies. Its affirmation writes, exhilarates its voice, invigorates its void. As sculptures we destroy, hack symbols out of stone, make monuments that hold. Really cool, just tumbling along. As sculptures we destroy, a reference to another one of St. George's miracles. Emperor Diocletian offers George honor if he will only offer sacrifice to the pagan gods. George agrees to this, and a public show is planned. However, rather than offer sacrifice, George prays for God to destroy the temple. Fire descends and burns the temple, and the earth opens and swallows the ashes. So, as sculptures we destroy. I'm not sure if that's necessarily true. Hack symbols out of stone, make monuments that hold. After the issuance of the Edict of Thessalonica and the subsequent suppression of paganism in the Roman Empire, it was common for Greek and Roman statues from antiquity to be etched with a cross in a practice known as spragus. Spraghis. I've never heard that before. The newly defaced statues were believed to ward off demons that statues of Hellenic deities may have attracted. Interesting. Huh. Never heard of that before either. That's pretty cool. Excellent things we make, excellent will displayed. Ask gold or go ask Jade. See, to me, that's the most interesting line. I am not sure what that means. What is ask gold or go ask Jade? Why? Like, the song is called Ask Jade, but why? Jade as an oracle? The Jade Oracle is a deck of cards used for divination and introspection, similar to tarot cards, but with a unique focus on ancient Mexican deities. I doubt that has anything to do with this. Like the Jade Oracle, each card is used to form a new universal archetype, giving us a window or soul and let's see ourselves. The Jade Oracle. No, I've never heard of that either. But before now, right? Like, I don't know what the Jade Oracle is. This is from Mexico, though. That's interesting. Never heard of that. Huh. I might have to look into that more just on my own. I'm curious. Um, hmm. Was all of this in vain? Who let it get this late? How am I supposed to paint? There's a weird pause there. How am I supposed to paint in the lyrics, which I thought was interesting. Oh, the feeling that you hate is said to hold a saint. I promise there's a way. What could that? Blade suggests that even within our most despised weaknesses, pride, anger, lust, shame, doubt, there is still the potential for sanctity. Sanctity is not the absence of struggle, but the transfiguration of it. The saints were wholly human and walked among us. This is a lot of writing. I mean, it's very interesting, but I don't know how you get all of that out of this. The feeling that you hate is said to hold a saint. I promise there's a way. Oh, I see what they're saying. I don't know. It's interesting. It's probably worth reading all of these annotations, because it seems like somebody did a really good job researching stuff, even if it's not like 100% for sure what Blade meant. It's very interesting stuff. I'm the idol, holier than thou. I'm King Nothing. So he had a song called King Nothing, off of Cold Visions. Yep. Holier than thou. I think he said something like that previously. Is that in an inversion of a line from the song Trendy off of The Fool, where he says, I'm not holier than thou. I thought I remembered that. But we're trendier than them. Haha. The princess's black hair hangs down from the tower of the Black Castle. An excerpt from St. George and the Dragon. In a legend, St. George, a soldier venerated by Christianity, defeats a dragon. The story goes that the dragon originally extorted tribute from villagers when they ran out of livestock. I just read this. When they ran out of livestock and trinkets for the dragon, they started giving up not human tribute once a day. They started giving up specifically women, because the women didn't matter. The women were, it was, every day they had to give up a sheep, and when they ran out of sheep, they were like, "Oh, we'll just use women because it's just as good." Because that's fucked up, right? And one day the princess was chosen. They drew lots every day, and she was walking towards the dragon's cave. St. George saw her and asked her why she was crying. The princess told the saint about the dragon's atrocities and asked him to flee immediately in fear that he might be killed too, but the saint refused to flee, slew the dragon, and rescued the princess. Of course, right? That's literally, this is probably where all of our legends about like the knight saving the woman from the dragon come from, or at least maybe this has distilled them down even then into something. Super packed song again. I don't understand. I don't know. I shouldn't say I don't understand. I don't know why he is going so crazy into this St. George thing, other than I think it feels to me like what I talked about in One in a Million, he feels like he is St. George having to slay these dragons day after day after day, the evil in his head that he has to also overcome by himself. It's super interesting stuff. And now the last song on the album is St. George the Martyr. Produced by Gabriel Schumann, Lucy, Eurohead, 30 Nick, and Mekatalk. Lots of producers. Let's go. 2 minutes and 8 seconds.
Supposed to be our Isn't this supposed to be a tragedy with you? That's just my pleasure. Material girl. Isn't this supposed to be this? Wishful thinking. Didn't you just say right? Didn't you say I am? Do what you want without God. Circle with no joke. It's just a theory. It's just a tragedy. It's a serious one, mysterious one. If you know right and wrong, you're falling. Come again, the sun. St. George the Martyr. His pursuit for stardom. Falling. It's excruciating vain. On the lake with the swan, but maybe I'm wrong. At the castle, the estate, I hold a sword so elegant. In the gauntlet, the world, material girl.
St. George.
For stardom. Tragedy, execution's just revolution. Tragedy with you is just my pleasure.
Nice little song. Very dreamy sounding. I can't decide if this is the most important song on the album or the least important song on the EP. Many has died, many has tried, many has died, many has lost their life. Wasn't this supposed to be ours? Wasn't this supposed to be hard? Tragedy with you, that's just my pleasure. Wasn't it supposed to be this? Wishful thinking. Didn't you just say right? Didn't you just say, ah, yeah? Do what you want with us. One thing for certain, we're not joking. It's just satirical. And it's interesting because satirical is spelled incorrectly, and I don't know. It's like a satyr, satirical, as opposed to satirical, which I believe the actual spelling is satirical, like a satire, right? Instead of a satyr, with the guy with the goat legs. Pan is a satyr. Tragedy with you is just terrible joke that's just gone too far. It seems to seep through this illusion. It's a serious one, mysterious one. If you're not right, you're wrong. You've fallen, come again, essence. I'm not sure if that word was essence. You've fallen, come again, essence. In Christian theology, Adam and Eve's betrayal of God is referred to as the fall. Adam and Eve were created in the image of God. I don't want to read all this. St. George the Martyr is his pursuit for stardom. So, when I heard this, I thought St. George the Martyr, his pursuit for stardom, I thought this was about Bladee saying he is St. George and he was pursuing stardom. And now he has fallen, the next line. It's excruciating vain. He has fallen, he has failed. He pursued the vanity of fame and stardom. And then the next line is on the lake with the swan, so I have to read about what that is. But let's see what these guys say about St. George the Martyr, his pursuit for stardom. St. George was a Roman soldier and is canonized in many Christian denominations for the struggle he endured for Christ. St. George is given the saintly title of Wonder Worker in Eastern Orthodoxy, as he is credited with miracles such as healing the sick, raising the dead, and slaying a dragon. As a member of Emperor Diocletian's imperial guard, he was ultimately subjected to torture and told to recant his faith. Despite his persecution, St. George refused to renounce Christianity and was ultimately put to death. Patron saint of all soldiers, patron saint of England, Georgia, Malta, Ethiopia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Ukraine, Bulgaria, Catalonia, and Aragon. St. George is among the most venerated martyrs and a symbol of steadfast courage in the face of persecution and oppression. Martyrdom is the highest form of witness to the faith, and by referencing St. George's martyrdom, Bladee may be drawing a parallel to his own disposition, symbolizing sacrificing the self for art, for fame, for love, or for higher spiritual truth. Interesting. On the lake with the swan. So I'm not sure if he's saying he is sacrificing of himself to something greater, or if he is saying he should do that, but he is fallen, and instead he pursued stardom for his own purposes, not for the purity of it, right? Not for the art, not for God, whatever you want to say. On the lake with the swan, but I may be wrong. Reference to Swan Lake off Blade's album 333. Yeah, maybe. I feel like that might be another reference to something mythical, but I don't know. At the castle, the estate, I hold the sword so elegant. Sure. Breathe, breathe, St. George the Martyr. So it brings up St. George again. Okay, that's all it is. That's stuff we already read. Interesting. Execution, dissolution, in excruciating vein. On the lake with the swan, but I may be wrong. St. George the Martyr. His pursuit for stardom. I'm just reading through the lyrics. Execution, dissolution. Many has tried, many has died, many has lost their lives. I have absolutely no answers for you. I have a lot of information here. I have nothing definitive. I would love to hear what Bladee intended by all of this. I thought all the songs sounded good. I love One in a Million. I love the way that sounded. That's like the winner off of this album in terms of just like the sound of it for me. It's very good. This is also really exciting. I think I should have said this at the beginning. It's exciting to me to know that he is continuing to make music as Bladee. This does feel like he sort of shifted gears a little bit, and now he is starting to question his motivation for doing what he did as Bladee. Because we all know he turned 30. Now I assume he's turned 31. And maybe he's trying to figure out why he did what he did, to deal with some of his demons, dragons. Maybe that's what he's spending his time on. I do not know. But I think this is an excellent EP with a ton to decipher and mull over. And I think if you're a Bladee fan, this is like an absolute treasure trove gift. It's very dense. It's very, very dense. There's a ton of stuff happening in this. And I would love to hear an explanation from him about it. I would love it. I also just happen to be a fan of St. George. I just think it's a cool myth. And it's very cool that he's using it as so much inspiration for this album. This EP. I hope you enjoyed all of this. Like I said, I don't have any answers for you. The other thing that I did find that I thought was interesting, St. George here, I saw on Catholic Online. This is where I saw the date of his death. His feast day is April 23rd. He was canonized by Pope Gelasius. Gelasius is what I would say. And it's got a ton of quite good information. Thought this was kind of cool. St. George stands out among other saints and legends because he is known and revered by both Muslims and Christians. It is said that St. George killed the dragon near the Sea of Beirut. Thus St. George Bay was named in his honor. His feast day is April 23rd, but falls before Easter. But if it falls before Easter, it is celebrated on Easter Monday. The Russian Orthodox Church celebrates 3 St. George feast days each year, April 23rd as expected, November 3rd to commemorate the consecration of a cathedral dedicated to him in Lydda, Lydda, and on November 26th for when a church in Kiev was dedicated to him. In Bulgaria, his feast day is celebrated May 6th with the slaughter and roasting of a lamb. In Egypt, the Coptic Orthodox Church of Alexandria calls St. George the Prince of Martyrs and celebrates on May 1st. Hey, that's today. There is a second celebration November 17th in honor of the first church dedicated to him. St. George is the patron saint of England and Catalonia, and his cross can be found throughout England. In older works, St. George is depicted wearing armor and holding a lance or fighting a dragon, which represents Christ's enemies. Interesting. What is the St. George Cross? I know I've heard of that too. St. George Cross. Oh, it's just the red and white cross. Serves as the national flag of England and a prominent symbol associated with English national identity. I didn't know that. What is the meaning of the St. George Cross? British civilian and military decoration. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this guy's. Just the mythology around him is incredibly cool. Anyway, there you go. That is Sweet, the Beautiful Martyr first attempt. The STE surprises me. I don't know what that's supposed to be. STE meaning. Different meanings can mean saint. Oh, okay. STE, really, referring to a female saint. Suite in addresses. STE in French referring to a company. So maybe it does just mean saint, but it means female saint. That's very interesting too. So Saint, the Beautiful Martyr, first attempt. First attempt. Is this Blade's first attempt at this EP? Is this, or at these 3 songs? I don't know. How long have I talked for a 7-minute and 48-second EP? Let's say 40 minutes? I have no idea. I really hope you enjoyed this. I actually have had a blast doing this. Like, there's so much stuff in this album, or this EP. I can't wait to find out more about it. And I hope you really enjoyed it, because I thought the music was awesome. There you go, Papa Squat. Check it out. Please like, subscribe, and share. Please go watch another video on the channel. And like I said, if you want to give me a tip, a payment for doing this video, I would appreciate it. I'm going to need all the help I can get in the next few months. I would really appreciate any help you can do. If you want to join my Patreon, $2 a month is all I ask. And I'll stop begging now. Have yourself a good day. Bye-bye. And I really hope you like this, because I loved it.